Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Hebrew. I'm on the local authors team. We're always looking for volunteers, so if you are interested or have ideas, we're always looking for new ideas. Also, we have a new talk on Monday. Nick Mason of Pink Floyd will be here, so that should be very cool. I met Craig about a year ago, 2 years ago.
Get it right.
And I started
year and a half ago.
Started working out with him. It's definitely sort of changed my life. I feel better about everything in general. And so even if you don't learn anything, he's very entertaining. So everybody welcome Craig Ramsay.
Thank you, Mike. Well, hopefully you will learn a lot, which I will make you. But thank you, Mike. And yeah, Mike and his wife, Christy, have been clients of mine for about a year and a half. And I've been so impressed with Mike's transformation over the past year and a half, not just his physique, but what he's capable of doing with his athleticism. It's really impressive. And he's such a good example of how when you have those physique goals in mind and you reach them, your whole life changes. It's not just about your body, it's about your body, your mind, your spirit, your work, your family, your relationships, your future, your present, everything. And also, I have today my assistant, Kevin, who is also a client of mine. And his success story is incredible and is very impressive to me and other clients. He's been a great motivator and a great example and walking billboard of what the message can provide. Here, give us a walking billboard, back and forth runway walk, Kevin. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Kevin, how much have you lost?
As of this morning, I have lost 78 pounds.
78 pounds in a short, how long has it been?
10 months.
10 months. But you have to understand, when Kevin first saw me, he couldn't do a push-up and couldn't even walk on an incline on a treadmill. And when someone comes to me unathletic, unlike this one that just walked in, who seems to be jacked and go to Venice Golds every day, which is great, welcome. Then if someone is unathletic when they come to see me, a lot of times there's no hope in hell in their eyes or in their mind. And my message is, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what obstacles you're up against, it doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair. Once we tackle the mind, we tackle the body. And what Kevin's been able to do is incredible. And this is the message, and the message is in this book, The Anatomy of Muscle Building, which all of you have, and I have a more impressive one because it's the hardcover. And yeah, actually, a great introduction is this short video that we have, which explains not only the book, but me as the author and what I put into it. Here we go. My training history started in Canada. I was a hockey player, turned contortionist, turned ballet dancer, turned Broadway performer. Nice shorts, right? 10 years ago, my mother was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I was able to learn about my mom's condition and change her life and pretty much save her.
Nice, Nikki. This is really good.
What brought me to training and changing people's lives stemmed from that.
You are here because...
I'm here with Craig Ramsay, and we're going to do a workout for this area right here.
You're pretty good.
The booty workout.
The booty workout. This really is a fantastic exercise to engage all of the core and abdominal muscles. You can see with Craig here.
If someone wanted to lose weight versus build muscle, is there a different way you would approach a strength training program?
There's no difference.
Really?
There truly is no difference. If you want to drop unhealthy weight, you have to incorporate a resistance training program.
Craig's book, which we have here, is Anatomy of Muscle Building, and it is
available
out now.
also through my
Thank you, Craig.
website. Kevin Rhodes. My training is like a slap in the face, followed with a loving hug.
You and me, we're bringing the pain today. Okay?
Yeah.
All of you are going to find your inner athlete today.
Come on, hop, 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 go.
Sprint it back, you guys.
Come on, hot girl. This way, and you're gonna sprint it out. Keep that strong run, Mandy. You got the power of this. On, come on.
I met Craig Ramsay on a reality fitness show, and he changed my life. Craig has this amazing ability to make you want to work hard and make you believe in yourself.
My name is Joe. I live in LA and I'm 35. I earn my living as an event producer. I have worked with everybody from Diane von Furstenberg to Dr. Dre.
Eat for fuel, not for fun. Borrow the love I have for you until you find it for yourself. You got this.
Craig, no. I vomit. I'm gonna vomit on you.
That's what soap and water's for. Hate me now, love me later. Okay, so now you know me. Probably too much. So I really want to concentrate, obviously because it's a book club, but on the book, The Anatomy of Muscle Building, and why I wrote this specific book, and why I chose this as my first book. Let me let you in on a little secret, that fitness books are written by fitness professionals for other fitness professionals. I've read the majority of them out there, and they annoy me. And the reason why they annoy me is because they preach and all they do is tell you, okay, this is the program you need to do. But most people don't know what that program is or even how to start. And the gym and fitness is a very vulnerable experience. And the majority of people that eat, there's one that knows the gym too. Hey! So it's my job to analyze a body, and I'm like, okay, he's spent this many years in the gym, this is what he does, this is his program, he's underdeveloped here and all that. So if you see my eye wandering, don't worry, I'm not really judging. It's more out of love and care for you. I was saying the gym is a very vulnerable place to be. And for all of us, even people that know what they're doing, you still have to grow and you have to change and you have to move past plateaus. And you need to be vulnerable enough to ask for help with that. So anytime anyone reaches out to me from the show or just from the reputation I have, I always feel so blessed, and I tell them what a great place that is to start from. And I wrote this book, so I'm forcing them to reach out by reaching out to them. I'm from Canada, from a small town in Canada, and I unfortunately have not been able to spend as much time and love and attention to my family and friends over the last 10 years because I've been in New York and LA. So this book is able to reach the masses and take the message of technique. Technique is so important when you go into the gym, and you have to know everything for your body and that machine. You have to be one with that machine. So if you're doing some lame program in another fitness book, not to demean other fitness books by any means, but if you're doing a lame program and it says, oh, lat pull down, okay, women are saying, what the hell is a lat pull down? What's the seat adjustment? How much weight should I be using? All of that. This outlines that for you. And it really sets a program in motion. Let me see my notes. I have doctor's handwriting, by the way. It's horrible. I'm sure all of you do too, right? You don't have to write. It's tight. I'm behind the ages. So I wanted to discuss, because Google is such an impressive company to me, and I admire all of you very, very much. And I admire Mike, and I know the long hours, the hard hours that he puts into work. And I want to compare the workouts in this book to what your work schedule's like. You know how there's those days that you have like a moderate work day where you can't really give it all day, but you're still giving it, and you know you're getting work done, and it's taking 8 to 10 hours. So that's your moderate day. The same thing goes with a moderate workout day. And let's talk about cardio. So a moderate cardio routine would be just slightly elevating the heart rate for a long period of time. So like 40 minutes to an hour. That's a way of burning fat off the body. And it's a bodybuilder's way of working out without hurting his tendons and his ligaments, and because his body's so expanded. So that's your moderate workout, cardio-wise. That's going to burn fat. Now, when you have a deadline and you have to work your ass off at work, the same thing applies at the gym. That's called interval training. So it's when you give, and then you have to hold back and catch your breath, and then you're like, oh my gosh, you get your mind together, and then you give again. That go and pull back, go and pull back is the goal. And the gym for that, and in this book, is you raise your heart rate as quickly and aggressively as possible, and then you lower it down as quickly as possible. So you want to work against that adrenaline rush that you're going to feel, and that's called interval cardio, which for most of you, because I'm really impressed, geez, Google's doing something right, because y'all are in shape. It's great. But interval cardio is going to work for you then. That's what you want to focus on. Putting it in terms of the book, the bodybuilding aspect of this book is interval training. So it's lifting heavy for 30 seconds. You're doing 30-second hard lifting, and that's going to raise your heart rate up more than most cardio will, and then you take your break. Taking that break lowers the heart rate, and then you go back into it. All of that is outlined in the book. Now women, we've already talked a bit about this like 10 minutes beforehand when I should have saved it for the presentation. So sorry to bore y'all with it, but women are very timid with starting a resistance training program. And unless you have an autoimmune disorder like PCOS, or you know that you have higher testosterone levels, or if you're taking testosterone, then you don't have to worry about that. Because unfortunately, and Christy and Mike can vouch for this, women have to restrict and men have to indulge. So I'm letting you in on the secret. Our goals are different, and unfortunately when I have a couple that comes to me and I'm like, okay, great, so your goal for the man is to be able to eat the buffet and enjoy it and utilize it on your body, and the woman, you're going to have to restrict, because you don't want to be bulky, you don't want to have all that kind of calorie intake, so we're going to deplete your calorie per meal, and you're going to have to sit there and watch your husband just enjoy and indulge in all of this amazing pizza. So it's always tough to do that, and it's a tough balance. But the goals are there, and they're different. We have to understand that. Also, Mike took me on a little tour, and I have to say, I'm so impressed with what Google has offered you as far as snacks and as far as meals go. Wow, it's so impressive, the choices that you have, the options. So obviously all of you are already utilizing that, and the gym you have, they know what they're doing, you all look fantastic. But some tips that are mentioned in the book that I would like to talk to you about is, if you're incorporating fitness into your work day, then how do you do it without looking like a total jackass and a sweaty mess? And there's tricks to this. So after your workout, wear a black shirt after, because you will sweat for a couple hours after your gym workout. You guys are able to work out during the day, right? How does that work? Do you have certain breaks in the day, or you can just go in when pleased?
We wait until our bosses are looking.
Okay, nice.
It's pretty flexible, as long as we go to like the meetings we have to go to.
Okay, where do I apply to work at Google? This is great. Well, that is so supportive, and I'm so impressed with that, because breaking up your day with workouts, even if it means like doing 2 workouts of okay, I'm going to separate my cardio. You have cardio machines here too. Cardio, and then later in the day I'm going to do my weights. So impressive that you guys are able to work on your physiques while you're able to work. And I know you guys have trainers that are top notch, and your equipment is fantastic. And it's a little different than what you'll see in the book here, but the technique is correct. And if you're debating, oh, are they right or I'm right? I'm right. Just let you know. I'll play the video again, okay? But the reason why I say that is because my background with being a contortionist and now being medically trained fitness professional for 12 years is the body has to be in correct alignment when you execute all of these workouts. And that's what the book has. That's what the book repeatedly and annoyingly will go over. You know, feet shoulder width apart, bent knees always, tuck the pelvis. This is protecting your hip flexors. And then the chest is always elevated. The shoulders are pushed down and back, which is going to now protect your rotator cuffs. Guys, that's #1 injury in the gym for us. And elbows in as much as possible. Good punching wrists. Now, taking it a step further, past the anatomy of muscle building, which it does mention, is then going into a bodybuilding program which has a false grip. All this stuff will be explained once you read the book in further detail, but false grip utilizes the forearms and the arms as well as the primary muscle of the chest when you're doing, say, push-ups or barbell press. And you have to know where you fit into that program, and you have to be honest with yourself. That's why the book outlines that. And it says, okay, if you can even do 1 day a week, this is what you do. A full body workout. If you have 2 days a week, we want to separate that into upper body and lower body. Now I'm guessing because all of you are in fairly good shape, you guys do utilize the gym? Do all of you? Put up your hand if you utilize this gym. Yeah? If you don't, do you guys have gym options? Do you work out at the gym? No? Then, well, A, you're doing really good. You must have some form of sports background, and you eat properly, obviously. But what's in the anatomy of muscle building, the push-ups, the tricep exercises, all of that can be done from home. And if you Google Made Man, is that right, Kevin? mademan.com? I do an amazing jug workout where I handle some really heavy jugs, and I take you through a routine that can be done from home. So there just is no excuses, because even if you're in shape and you feel in shape, the benefits of putting lean muscle mass on you are incredible. They help with every aspect of your life. I preach it until no one wants to hear me anymore. Women in the gym. And I mentioned this in the book, and other trainers might tell you differently, but they're wrong. Women have to look their best in the gym in order to have a great workout, in order to feel their best. Please, even guys, don't have that mindset of, oh, I'm going to wake up and look like hell and go into the gym. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that, because you don't feel your best. You don't look your best, and you're going to be aware of that. If dress up, I'm not saying you're going to be in full beat with eyelashes out to here and you're going to be doing Chicago the musical, but you definitely have to wear something that's appropriate, that makes you feel good. Even guys, it does aid in your workouts. First off, does anyone have any questions so far? Don't be shy. Yep.
Could you actually talk a little bit more about the nutrition differences that you were just kind of alluding to between men and women? Because I know some of it is, can be a little more specific, like
Yeah.
we started working together in terms of carbs after a certain time, things like that, and the way men sort of need to eat after a workout versus
And before, yeah. Well, let's start with breakfast first. Is these snack bars open right in the morning for you guys?
We have a full kitchen in the morning, too.
breakfast too.
Excuse me, this is amazing. Can I just get a Google Pass at least? Like I'm at Venice Golds, I'll just come a little earlier and have a buffet. It's great. Well, I saw the oatmeal options that you have. And fruit, you have fresh fruit, correct? Yeah. So that's an incredible start to your morning. If there's protein options, didn't I see hard-boiled eggs?
Yeah, usually we have hard-boiled eggs.
Perfect. So starting your breakfast off, when you wake up in the morning, you should have it within a half hour after waking up. If you don't, and you don't eat, you're slowing down your metabolism. Also, if you're taking a sip of coffee prior to putting food in your system, you're slowing down your metabolism. That ring around here is near impossible to get rid of unless you have those fitness model tips. And how many of you drink coffee in the morning on an empty stomach? Yeah? That's slowing down your metabolism like crazy, and it packs on fat around the midsection. The same with going without eating for 3 hours. And I'm not saying you should indulge every 3 hours. As we talked about with men and women, especially women, you have to break up your meals as if they're snacks. And I don't like to get in the habit of calorie counting because women can be obsessed with that. But what you should know is the good foods and the bad foods and the ugly. And the ugly is sugar. Sugar is just not a necessity. And if you think fake sugars like Splenda and all of that are going to be fine, they're not, because they're going to drive you insane mentally because it's going to perpetuate more sugar cravings. So you just need to cut out that crap. Unfortunately, there's just no way around it. You can have it every 10 days or so. A cheat meal is fantastic. And once you're at the fitness level of most of you, actually, to be honest, then you can have a cheat day. And then we just go crazy on it and we love it, right? But the trick is to get back on track after you have that horribly indulgent day. That's where your body gets back into a shock mode where it's like, oh, okay, all right, then we don't need to store onto this fat. We deplete it and then we're back on track. And you do that every 10 days. It's a health thing. It has nothing to do with just the mind. It's a mind and body thing that's necessary to do. So women, the breakfast, ideally you have it right here. Your oatmeal, your eggs, your fresh fruit, and peanut butter. Peanut butter is going to be your best friend. Women especially. When we incorporate a good fat like peanut butter and avocados with a really good carb, it slows down the digestion of carb. So say I have peanut butter with oatmeal. Normally that would take 40 minutes to shock my system and it would be depleted, right? And then we could get hungry sooner and we'll have ups and downs. You'll find a chemical change in your body. If you have peanut butter with that, it slows down the digestion of that carb. So now you're being fed slowly food over a 2-hour period instead of 40 minutes. So that's why they say, oh, eat good fats to lose weight. It's good fats with carbs. One online training client, because I offer online training through FitOrbit, and all of that is outlined with, they utilize the book, by the way, the workouts in the book, but the food program, one client reached out to me and she said, I've actually gained some weight and all I'm having is, and she showed me a picture of it, chicken and avocado at night. And I said, oh honey, you're taking initiative too much. Follow exactly what it is, because you're taking in more than 44 grams of protein in one sitting, and anytime we do that, we store it as fat. So if you think, oh, I'm going to have that Atkins and I'm going to go crazy on protein, well, if your body can only digest so much at once. That's why we break it up into meals every 2 or 3 hours of small portions. If you indulge like that, it's stored as fat. And then she's having avocado, but there's no carb to slowly digest it. So she's shocking herself with fat too. So the poor girl's trying to do well, but she's taking too much initiative. What else?
And the timing of that at night maybe.
Yeah.
But throughout the day, you're starting with breakfast, you could probably talk about, a bunch of different
Well, carb depleting, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I want to lose weight and I got to cut carbs out of my diet. No, carbs is energy, protein is repair. So remember that. Where do you need most of your energy? In the morning and afternoon. I'd be surprised if you're running marathons at night, but if you are, then your training's going to be slightly different, where you're going to need those carbs for energy, and any marathon runner knows this, is you're going to have those carbs later in the evening. Otherwise, what you want to do is restrict them. Same thing with losing weight or gaining muscle. You still don't need to have that excess of carbs after like 3 p.m. So you want to start cutting them out. Snacks, women, definitely, and men, you want nuts, you want to have a carb like a multigrain cracker with hummus. Perfect, great. Vegetables. Do you guys have those options here? Yeah? What other options? What do you guys like to eat in the snacks here?
Is
Okay, cut the bananas. No more bananas. Bananas are way too high in sugar, and unless you're eating it before you work out, great. You're going to utilize that energy, that sugar for energy. Otherwise, stick with berries, blueberries, stuff like that. My big guy in the back, how often are you hitting the snack bar?
I sit by the junk food pantry, so pretty often, but it's not usually.
So the junk food is like what, sugar stuff?
Yeah, it's all like candy bars and Oreos. And,
Okay, and when do you work out in the day?
usually in the morning.
Usually in the morning. So if someone works out, and you lift heavy,
Sometimes.
yeah? If someone is working out to intensity and they aren't having as much food, this should not go on video, by the way, because I'm telling you how to live an indulgent life. But you can have more sugar intake. So the less food you have, the more sugar you're able to have. I don't want to promote that, and unless you have a really healthy existence with incredible workouts, then you can go down that route. That's why when you go over to Venice Gold's and you'll see like cookies and you'll see brownies being sold, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, this is a health gym. Well, it's because they need that sugar for energy, because if they went starving for 3 hours, we don't want to have a brown rice and chicken meal because it's going to be too slow to digest. We want that fast-acting sugar to give us a sugar rush to be able to hit our workout really hard. Let me look at the book. I want to get back to the book and discuss these options in here. I have no skin. Ah! The stretching. If we're going to talk about stretching quickly, it's fine if you have a cramp and you're like, oh, I need to stretch, or before you do that exercise, you can lightly engage in a stretch. Do not overdo it. Your body is like an elastic band. If you overstretch that, you're not going to be able to get a proper contraction in your workouts. And what this book promotes is a proper stretch and a proper contraction, which you always have to have with every single rep, every single set. If you don't, then you're not changing the shape of your body. So make sure you stretch. If you're stretching aggressively, it's after your workout. Now women, the exception is if you wear high heels, but there's no dress code of high heels here, right? No, we're pretty laid back. Well, if you do wear high heels often, you'll want to stretch out those calves before you begin any kind of cardio program, okay? Warm-ups, always warm up the body. What you want to do is send blood flow to the body. That's going to help you prevent injury. That's why we warm up for anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes prior to any kind of weight resistance. But you always want to combine both of them. Yes?
So you have a note here that the best form of cardio are running and stairs.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could compare those to elliptical.
Oh gosh, I'm going to get in trouble again. Christy and Mike know what I'm talking about. I have to say my opinion with this, and it's the correct one. Remember we talked about that? But the elliptical machine is absolutely useless unless you have a knee or an ankle or lower back injury. The reason is, I go into a gym and I look at these people that will, and I'm not judging them, please don't think that it's a judgment, but if you gravitate towards the elliptical machine, it means one of two things. Either you're injured and you know what you're doing, or you don't know what you're doing, you're insecure, and you jump on an elliptical machine for 40 minutes and call it a day because it's the easiest machine to get started and it's the easiest machine to do. So you're choosing the easiest machine in a gym, which is going to give you the least results. But guess what? You're there and you're putting the time in anyway. You might as well go crazy on it and go for what's going to challenge you the most, because that's going to change your body the most. Elliptical machine takes the weight off of the legs. And the whole idea and point of proper cardio program is utilizing the weight you have. Like for instance, Kevin, in his weight loss journey, lugging around extra weight when you need to get rid of it, that's hard to do. It's equivalent to me giving, you know, one of you skinny fit people a 45-pound plate and hold on to it and do the same cardio. You're going to be exhausted. That's what an obese person feels like. But you put them on a stairs and they're lugging it around, it's going to be a much harder workout with incredible, quicker results if you attack the stairs. Stairs, treadmill, incline. If you feel like you're having a lazy day, go on the steepest incline possible and try not to hold on. Only 10 seconds of every minute, hold on. Otherwise, you just dig your heels down and climb that mountain. It's going to do you a world of good. Do not take the easy route. Always challenge yourself. Does that answer it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Related to that, you were talking about interval training with weights. What would you recommend for interval training with, say, running? Just pumping up the speed or the incline?
For the cardio? Yeah. What you want to find is the amount of time that it takes to really elevate your heart rate. So I'm guessing for you, it'd be like a 30-second sprint. So say you're just on a treadmill, okay? Do you run? Are you okay with running? Yeah. Knees good, all that? Okay, well, let's use first treadmill as an example. So treadmill, and this is in the book as well. It'll talk about it. You know the treadmill with the handles on the side? So we start with a 2-minute, just easy walk, and then we bump it up to a fast speed that's going to really elevate your heart rate. So I'm guessing like 6.5, 7.0 for you. So you're running for 30 seconds, you find the sides, and you hop off carefully. And that hop off is forcing you to catch your breath, which is lowering your heart rate. So you calm yourself down. Don't get wrapped up in analyze. Women analyze everything in life too. I'm a huge feminist, so don't worry, I'm not attacking any of you, but what you do is you analyze a situation, you go in your body and you make yourself miserable. And what you need to do is separate that. Think about other things, trust the technique you have because you're studying my book, and then you can get through that program without overanalyzing. Overanalyzing will exhaust you. And then you grab onto the sides and you hop back on for 30 seconds, and then you do it again. You repeat. That's a perfect way of interval training. If 7.0 isn't giving your heart enough of a challenge, the heart rate, then you have to bump it up, bump it up, bump it up, bump it up, all the way to 12 speed.
So do you recommend waiting a length of time or for the heart rate to go down to a certain percentage lower, right?
I'm guessing for you that it would take 30 seconds of the hopping off to catch your breath. If it takes longer, then I think those intervals are too aggressive. Then you need to lower the speed. So raise it up and lower it down and monitor it. And you can control your heart rate to lower. If you relax the jaw slightly when you're working out, and it talks about this in every single exercise of the book, always have that space in the jaw, which is going to allow you to relax the back of the neck, which is going to allow you to breathe properly. The majority of people in the gym don't know how to breathe, believe it or not, and we don't want to seem vulnerable and out of breath, so we hide it, right? If you're forced to breathe properly and your diaphragm to work, if you relax that jaw, it's going to actually lower your heart rate quicker. So it's a trick of the trade. $150, please. That's my consultation fee. Any other questions? I like questions. Also, if you relax the jaw and the diaphragm's working properly, it's going to take the tension out of the neck. You know how women, you're always saying, oh, I don't want to build big traps, my neck, muscles, all that. It'll be out of the equation if you do that. And then it will relax the shoulders, which will protect the rotator cuff, thank you. And it also will allow your diaphragm to work, so you'll be able to sing some great notes like that while you're working out. Yeah, any questions, anyone?
Now everybody's shy.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Oh, here we go.
So about routine.
Yep.
How often should you change your routine? Because there's always these talks about muscle confusion.
Of course, yeah. When you become familiar with it, which usually takes 6 to 8 weeks, when it becomes boring, usually women get bored with programs sooner than guys, because women are more capable of processing those things and perfecting them quicker. No offense, guys. Just saying it like it is. I'm one of you, sort of. So with you, you're going to need to change every 6 to 8 weeks. And what you always want to do is make sure that you still are combining a cardio and a resistance program. If it's only cardio, you will get in a routine as a woman to only burn calories from that day, not change the shape of your body. If you're a woman that only thinks, oh, I'm going to do cardio, you're only burning calories from the day. You are not changing your physique. And it's all about the ego, people. There's not one person that comes to me, and if they are, they're lying, and they say, I'm really concerned about my health, and I really would like to breathe better and have balance and all that. No, am I allowed to say bullshit? It's bullshit. It's all about the ego. You want to look better, and then that will change and improve your life and, of course, your health. Just being honest. Any other questions?
It
Sorry, that was a question. Other sort of cardio interval routines you can do on not just the treadmill, but maybe some of the other machines.
Absolutely. One of my favorite cardio weight training combination exercises is on a stationary bike, combining dumbbell training with the bike. So if you only have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, this is the perfect form of cardio, interval training for all of you in this room. Stationary bike, dumbbells, and a routine of 30-second intervals. You're going to do shoulder presses 30 seconds, shoulder front raises 30 seconds, side push-outs 30 seconds, bicep curl 30 seconds, tricep behind the head 30 seconds, and then you rest for a minute. That's your rest, that's lowering the heart rate, and then you go back into it. That routine and combination will shred your body. Absolutely shred your body and pack on upper body mass for guys, because we do have the ability to raise testosterone levels in our body, unlike women, so we can build our upper body. Women, you don't have to worry about that. When a man does the bike in a high resistance, and we're talking for women, it's anywhere around 8 to level 10. For men, it's 12 to 20. If you are doing resistance training with the legs in cardio with a really high resistance, you're bumping up your natural testosterone. Testosterone is what makes our body composition. It's going to tell us how big and how cut and how much fat we're going to be able to lose. So you want to give yourself a fighting chance by raising those testosterone levels. So that's, again, goes back to our cardio, why choose elliptical when you can work the leg muscles and actually raise your natural testosterone levels with stairs or with the bike on a heavy resistance. Same thing with weight training. Guys, you always want to do legs once a week, even though we dread them. And the reason why we dread them is because we have that testosterone rush, which makes us have that flight or fight. So it's that panicky where you're like this. And that's relaxing the jaw, calming yourself down, and focusing and removing yourself from the body to be able to get through the program. Then any body part that is deficient for guys, that you're like, oh, I have small shoulders. Well, then on a shoulder day, you always incorporate a leg exercise to the extreme. That's raising your testosterone levels, which are going to enable that underdeveloped body part to build. Another $150, please. That's a really good tip, and it's in the book. The Anatomy of Muscle Building.
So I actually have a quick question.
Yeah.
So on a leg day, would you still do cardio on that day, or what would you suggest?
Really, really good question. I only advise a warm-up of like 6 minutes or so, just to get the blood flowing to the body, and no cardio on that day. Doing legs is such a cardio experience anyway, with the elevation of your heart rate going up and down, that it's not worth it. It's overtraining, and you're not taking in enough calories to justify that kind of workout.
Is that just for men or for as well? Because women wouldn't necessarily be dividing it up.
For men, it's also, it would be for women and men, but for men, it's also a testosterone thing. They're going to collapse. They're not going to have enough what's called creatine and ATP levels in their body. They don't have enough, so they're actually going to fall down. A woman is never going to fall down, by the way. This is my difference with training men and women. Men will inform me of when they're exhausted and when they're going to collapse. A woman will go until her bicep rips. And then all she'll do is go, whew, that kind of hurt a little bit. Do you think I should be concerned? And like her biceps down here. And so that's just the difference between men and women. Women aren't taking in enough calories to justify that kind of workout. If you're spending too much time in the gym, it's useless. You need to really focus and do it to intensity, and you make sure that you eat before, after. Another eating tip for especially men that bodybuild, you want to eat a white starchy carb before your workout and afterwards for the energy. That's okay. We work out hard to indulge in life. So all this crap, and I can say bullshit, so bullshit, of not having white potatoes and not having pizza and all that stuff, it's not true. Your workouts just have to be intense, like in the Anatomy of Muscle Building, that justify that and utilize it. That's what we want to do. We want to work out hard to utilize that. Yes.
Does it matter what time of day you work out, whether it's before breakfast or before dinner or whatever?
Never before breakfast, because it's actually only, okay, let's explain it this way. You never get in a car without having proper gas in it, right? So your body, if it's not fueled, what is it running on? It's not running on calories, it's not running on food intake. So what happens to our bodies? Is anyone under 23 years old here? No? Great. So everyone 23 and older, what happens to our body is we tap into muscle. Unfortunately, we don't tap into fat when we work out on an empty stomach. We're too old, everyone. Hate to break it to you. I'm with you, though. We're too old to do that nonsense. So we eat away at our muscle mass that we're trying to put on, and we convert it into fat. That's a good way of thinking about it. Smaller here, bigger here. You need food to work out properly. So what was the exact question again?
What time of day is best?
What time of the day? When you're eating properly, you want to make sure you have enough calories in your system. I'm not saying eat a buffet before you work out, because if you're new to the gym, that will make you nauseous, definitely. So at least an hour or two before your workout is fine. And a healthy meal of maybe 500 calories for guys, 300 calories for women, around that range. And wherever you're going to have the most energy. Everyone is so different. Or with the demands of work. If you can't work out until the evening, well then, that's your workout. And if that's the case, then we're going to adjust your carbs, and we're going to make sure that you still surround yourself with carbs so you have proper energy to work out. If it's in the morning after your breakfast, great. If it's twice in a day, like here we talked about, if you could do a half hour or 20 minutes of cardio and then quickly change and then go, is that same fit guy or another fit guy? Oh. Just running circles. Yeah, he's just going in circles. Good observation. He's part of the running group, isn't he? Just around the block. So, yeah, cardio broken up, and then you go back and you do your heavy weightlifting. Ideal, incredible. If you guys can do that, wow, I told you I'm signing up to Google. Can you get me an application, Mike, afterwards? Thank you. I don't know if you'll have me, but after this, we'll see. Any other questions? Do you guys have fitness groups here? Yep. Oh, yep.
So you'd mentioned you were a contortionist. Do
you want me to prove it?
No, that's right. I believe you.
My next book that's a stretching book comes out May 15th, and
Okay.
it's the first time ever that I actually get to show that off. So I'll see you back after May 15th, and we'll do that.
Yeah, sounds good. I was actually wondering what part that plays in. You mentioned don't stretch a lot before you work out, but I wonder what part being flexible plays in actually not getting injured kind of in general.
Absolutely, you need to have a flexible body, but you have to know when to properly stretch those muscles. As I said, working out with weights and your cardio is a contraction. And if you elongate that muscle too much, you're going to be flopping all around. And I train a lot of Broadway shows. I did a handful of Broadway, and I was the go-to guy on Broadway. And let me tell you, every single dancer I have to change their mind frame, their mind of thinking. You know how we talked about elliptical? People gravitate towards ellipticals for 40 minutes. Dancers gravitate towards just holding their legs straight up and stretching and overdoing it, because that's their insecurity. They don't know what they're doing, so they're going to stretch because they know they do it well. And they're going to get a date out of it too, right? And it depends on what gym, but. So with you still have to obtain a flexible body. If you work out to intensity and you don't have time to in work here to stretch in there, then even at the office, in my next book, and I think there's a couple of stretches in here, but again, we don't want to look like a jackass at the workplace and have our leg up in our cubicle, you know. What we want to do is do very discreet, private stretches, which can be done from the comforts of your own chair, which will be in the next book, which I'll definitely talk about when we return. Absolutely. And if you have a hard workout, in a hot bath where you're raising your body temperature, ideal way of stretching over your legs and being able to break up that lactic acid that makes your hamstrings really tight. After the workout. After the workout, yeah, always, 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 please. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So I came in late, so just tell me if I missed this question. But I noticed when stretching with the trainer, my leg can go so far back, But if I just relax and let them push, and instead of a pulsating motion, it keeps going farther and farther back. But if I myself am trying to do it, I have very limited motion. And it was sort of mentioned that that was mainly just a frame of mind thing, that the muscle actually is capable of tremendous amount of relaxation when it's relaxed. What's your thoughts on the matter? And
Okay, that's a PNF stretch. So that's an assisted stretch that he's doing, correct? With you?
Yes.
It's a different form of stretching. You need to do all types of stretching. There's static, there's dynamic, and there's a PNF stretch, which is where a trainer will assist you. And he'll even ask you for to resist him, and then he'll take you a little further. That's just a different form of stretching, which you can do on your own with a towel. So one of those small hand towels, if you're on your back and your leg is extended straight up, you can do the exact same thing, holding the towel underneath your leg and then pushing against it for a good 10 seconds and then releasing it for another 20 to 30 seconds. And that will take the range of movement further, which is a great form of stretching, but it should be usually advised or with someone that's a professional or a friend utilizing my next book, The Anatomy of Stretching, May 15th, which will guide you through that.
Does that cross over? Does that help for other kinds of range of motion where you are physically moving your leg, or is that independent?
Oh yes, your intimacy in the evening, is that what you're talking about? Or am I going to a place that's inappropriate at Google? It helps in all forms of your life to have a flexible body. Yeah, helps with your relationships, it helps with your daily life. Sitting in a chair, repetitive movements, having a flexible body is such a necessity. Yeah, in your lower back, you know your problem areas. And we forget to move and to make our bodies feel good. So taking a 15-second stretch break is going to make all the difference with your blood flow, your circulation, standing up and giving a stretch where needed. If you hold your body correctly, that this book really addresses, then you will have less injury and less tightness in your muscles. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, Mike has the mic.
So most of the
I
exercises.
thought that joke would have went over better with you guys at Google. Mike with the mic.
It took me a second.
Okay.
So most of the exercises in here are actually using free weights.
Yeah.
Like, what's your thoughts on sort of like belt or like cable-driven machines?
You guys have cable machines, correct? They're incredible. They're great. I think that the dumbbells and barbells are a really good way to start and to gain your stability. They help with stability and your technique before you move to cables, because cables can help you cheat a little bit more with the range of movement. But all exercise is great. And there's not one way, like I'm not judging weights in cables as much as I'm judging the cardio. So it's still a good question. But if it's done properly, the cable machines are fantastic. And machines in general are really good to do, but no one program is advised or should be advised. And like you said, we need to mix it up and we need to change it up. So I'll take my clients through working a set of dumbbells, and then they'll do a barbell press, and then they'll do cable machines, and then they'll do seated guided Smith machines, things like that. Yeah, utilize everything that you have. If this is what you have here, don't judge it, just do it, if that makes sense. If you don't have anything and you're at home, you can get, my Ultimate Perfect Workout DVD, which I'm the perfect push-up demonstrator guy, so now it's at Costco and all that. My DVDs there utilize the proper push-up. If you even do push-ups in the correct form, you're working all of these secondary muscles more than what most people do as primary muscles in the gym. Meaning, if you have proper form, your whole body's going to be built from a push-up. Any other questions? I have a question. Can I get a Google shirt after this? I really like them. Yeah. I want the gay one, though, with the rainbow flag. That's there.
That's just a regular one.
Oh, it is? Yes! Google! Good company. Yeah, this is the It Gets Better campaign for Google. That's what I need. I'll do a PSA for Google. Great.
All right, I think that's...
Google circle shirt. They have these white shirts with these different colored circles all over it.
Well, I love that. I'm Canadian, so we love our free shit, so keep it coming. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to eat buffet snacks after this. Trust me. You'll be missing oatmeal for a week. Yeah.
So I have another question about nutrition.
Yeah.
What should you eat to gain or not to lose weight? Because
Um,
whenever I eat healthy, I'll have too few calories at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and
so-
and I'm losing weight, and at the same time, I don't want to eat that like my blood sugar spikes too much.
Right, of course. So glycemic index, have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Google those and make sure that you're eating the most appropriate calorie consuming foods possible. That will help you in losing weight if someone's goal is to lose weight. If your goal is to gain weight, what you're improperly doing if you're not seeing results and you're eating a lot is your workouts aren't intense enough and you're not lifting heavy enough. A guy has got to lift heavy in order to pack on muscle mass because you're ripping the muscle, right? You're ripping the fibers and then you're healing them with your food. So if you're not ripping them properly with the proper stretch and a contraction with every single movement, then we're not changing the shape of the muscle. And we have to fill that damage that we do with proper eating. So you have to make sure that you're not having breaks in your day and you have to eat every 3 hours and think of it as like meal, snack, meal, snack, meal, snack. Like you can do that. And this, please don't get in the habit of thinking a protein shake or a protein bar is a meal, right, Kevin? Right. Kevin just buried his head. His food logs will often have, oh, I had a Myoplex shake for dinner, and I'm like, it's not a meal, that's a snack. There's not enough healthy material in that food to process things out of your body. It's going to get stuck. You need to have foods, you need to have fiber, you need to have salad. Is that answering your question? Yeah? Ask me something more specific with it. Like for you, that pertains to you. Ask me something like what, just ask me something that's more specific.
Well, I mean, like in general, I'm trying to, like, I'm cutting out white rice, potatoes, and more bread to prevent that my blood sugar spikes too much. And then I'm losing.
Do you have a problem with that?
And,
okay, so that's fine.
Then so I've been just like losing weight and weight like constantly.
So more protein sources. Your protein levels, do you know how much protein you're having per meal? Have you broken that down?
No.
No? Start paying attention to that.
But I'm mainly by now like eating kind of like meats with vegetables all the time.
Okay. So that's great. And you will lose muscle mass if you're not having a proper carb intake. But if that's a medical issue, then you need to address that before you need to address your physique, if that makes sense. I would get that on track, and then you can sustain your muscle mass with more protein, more proper proteins. So just more often, every 2 hours. You're not eating every 2 hours, correct?
No.
Right. So
and,
if you
and
have,
sometimes I'm skipping meals. Or
yeah. See, that's what's going to do it to you. That's what you're going to lose weight. Even if you work out hard and you don't eat properly, it's not going to change the shape of your body. Food has to be a given. You know, people say, oh, you should start with food, or food has to be included. No, food is a given. It's like talent on Broadway. Talent's a given. It's then it's the other things that are important. So the same thing with you. Every 2 hours, you're going to have protein sources. Hard-boiled eggs here, grab 2 hard-boiled eggs every 2 hours. Just start feeding into that. It gets boring, but try and separate yourself with that relationship with food. And that 10 days, that's where I want you to go shit crazy on it, without any carb, obviously. So have those options, okay?
You're much too young to have this concern, but have you noticed any change of how you metabolize and build and maintain muscle as you get older from like?
The majority of my clients are 40 plus, and the best results that I've had with clients are in heading into their 50s or their 50s. How old are you? Is that write it down on a piece of paper?
Old enough to know better.
So the body changes. The workouts have to change as you go into a different phase. A lot of guys go back to old school, what worked for them in their 20s. The same as women always judge themselves with how they looked in high school. Oh, but I was this weight in high school and I fit into this. You can't do it. Your body has been around and been lugging itself around and climbing upstairs. Your muscle density is different, so you're never ever going to weigh that same. But your physique can be the same because muscle will condense and look tighter. So for guys, we have that mentality of working out the same way we did back in the day, and you can't. As soon as you hit a point of 45, 50, I find, this is a stereotype, but it exists enough that I can recommend that you change it to a burn program. We have pumps and we have burns. And what I mean by that is, say in this anatomy muscle building, it will say, okay, you're doing 12 heavy sets. No, for you it's going to be a minute. How many can we get in a minute by lowering the weight? So you're doing rows like this, and it's like more of a pumping rather than when you go through the motion, when you body build. Pump, pump. Your heart rate is elevated for the whole duration of the exercise. Remember how I talked about intervals? Cardio is great for you guys? Not the same for someone that is heading into that age bracket. What we want to do is your workouts, heart rate elevated the whole time, which means you have to work out like you're 23. You've got to kill it. Right, Kevin? Kevin, how old are you? 48, and he changed his life around this last year. Completely. He looked like his father before. And now he looks like his own son. Like, it's incredible. You look great.
If I can add, I was never, ever an athlete at all. And I'm probably more fit than I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah.
Is that mainly from diet or exercise?
Has to be. The diet has to be a given. Has to be a given. And especially in my online training, it outlines that. But what Kevin's talking about with his workouts is, even the other day when I had him in training, his workouts have to be as intense in his body as the fitness professionals. There's too much babysitting by trainers. Trainers don't like me for saying this stuff, but it's true. And this is why I wrote this book, is this is your trainer. Now your motivator is you. And that energy has got to be there. You have to work out like the trainers work out for themselves. All day long, I see trainers that are training their clients and doing functional training. Do you know what that means, functional training? It means just like improving their daily life for their work, for their sports, whatever it is. And I say bullshit. I say what you need to do is work out for a physique that's men's health cover worthy. And if you have that intensity into it, change happens. So your workouts have to be intense. Don't kill yourself. I'm not trying to say that, but it has to be the proper program. And that's in this book.
All right, well, it's 2 o'clock, so I think this is over. Craig will be around to talk, I think, afterwards. So thank you for coming in.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much.